Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode. My name is Jeremy with Photos by Jeremy. In today's episode, we're gonna do some dance stuff. But one of the signature things I do when it comes to dancers and some of my sports individual sessions is I like that plain black background with a little bit of reflection on the bottom. But I also like to show motion. So I like to add some flour or some powder or some color or sometimes water. And I bend it, manipulate it around the dancer to create a really cool effect. The photo on the screen here is the one we're going to be working with today. I had the pleasure of working with the Melrose Dance Academy in Melrose, Massachusetts, and they're so talented. This was maybe one of two takes with this young dancer here. And it was spot on. So we're gonna start with this one, and like anything, I like to start with my background first. So we're going to go to File, we're going New, and we're going to create a new canvas. I like to work on a 16 by 20, and we're gonna write dancer. And then the black background, and I usually leave it at a 144. No particular reason. I could bump it up to 300, but there's really no need. And we hit create, and there is our blank but black canvas. And this is where we're going to start. So that one's there. I don't need to do any other background elements until I get her in here. So it's a little different than the actual compositing where I build the different scenes, because this is going to be more for effect. So let me go back to here. And what we need to do now is get rid of all of this green. And you'll notice she was jumping. So the top of her hand came off the green. So there'll be a little bit of work to do up here. Some flyaways in the hair. I got to blend this in. This will be tricky on the hair. Remove this hair down here. Move the pieces that are over here. Probably some touching up of the skin, although I don't think so. Minor, like removing some color tones here, sharpening up the eyes, darkening some stuff up. But I think ultimately this picture came out really good. This will be where we cut out up here. No, all right. I think this is gonna be good. Let's get started. Again, I use that custom action created by Ben Shirk of Ben Shirk Photography. It's an amazing extraction tool, and you can buy that right from his website. It's really cool, and it's fast. You just literally click and it goes. And you got to do some cleanup, but it's a lot faster than doing it step by step. Look at that. Look how fast that was. Like I said, there's some cleanup because there was some green spill from the light reflecting off the green when I shot. So there's just a little bit. This is going to be perfect, but we got to cut this up now. So what I like to do is I go here and click on the layer mask. Don't double click, just single click here. And then I like to use my brush. And I brush it all out of there. Zoom in a little bit. Here we go. It's going to be the only cutting that we're going to be doing here, so it'll actually be relatively easy. 100%. You see what my brush properties are here. Yeah. So when I'm doing this, I don't like to have a soft edge because it will bleed. You watch. Go back to black here. It'll bleed. See the edges here where it's really soft? I want a super hard edge so that when I'm going along the edges, you notice there's no like fuzziness. So if I were to use this brush and go along the edge here, it would actually blend into her hand, so I'd lose some of her hand too. I want that nice sharp edge. So anywhere from like 78 all the way up to 100, depending on the area that you want to go, is normally what I like, and no spacing. If you do spacing, watch that brush. See how it's It's kind of weird. So I do 0 spacing, and then it's a smooth transition. All right, so let's get going. Let's get rid of all this. I can go into. Let's get rid of all this. Get rid of all the other stuff after, but I like to get as close to the hand as I possibly can. Not seeing all this other distracting stuff. All right, and it's honestly, it's just manipulating the pixels here and getting rid of them. Very simple, very easy, little time consuming, but as you get good at it, you'll know what you can get away with. If you take off too much of her fingers or that outer edge, it becomes quite apparent that everything looks really, really weird. Kind of like that. If I didn't knock that down, it would look like she's got square fingertips. Zoom in a little bit more here. You can start to see the actual pixels. I like to get nice and close. You can also do your like click and then your little shift click here to really wrap it around these edges. And all I'm doing is I click and then I hold down the shift button, and then wherever I click, it draws a straight line to it, kind of like that. Very useful, especially when you're trying to get into these tiny little areas. Now, this is just the way I do it. Some people tell me that this is the hard way and that there's an easy way to do it and whatnot, but I'm a stickler for doing what I know works. I always up to trying new things and doing things new ways, but I like this because I feel like I'm more in control when I'm working in the way that I do, this style, doing it like manually like this. I feel more in control. I feel like I've done more, believe it or not, with the image. You know what I mean? Probably not, but it's okay. Again, the click and then I'm shifting here, going out and around her thumb. Now, in dance, and this is the other reason you gotta be super careful. In dance, the hand and feet position are so critical. On some of these dance moves, I had the dance instructor. She's amazing. Was right there the entire time, and we were tethered. And when I would shoot, she'd look at the screen and she'd be like, "Nope, I thought it looked good," and she'd be like, "No, fingers aren't pointing," or "No, toes aren't pointing," or something's out of line that, you know, to somebody who doesn't know, you'd be like, "I thought it looked beautiful," and she's like, "No, that's not the proper form." So making sure you're not manipulating the fingers and other parts of the body that are supposed to be exact is important, because then your client who's going to see these is going to be like, no, her fingers look a little weird. They need to be pointing in the right direction. I don't mean to babble. I'm just talking while I'm getting rid of this. You can fast forward if you want to where this is all done. You don't have to worry about it. I might do that anyways when I edit it, or not. I don't like to edit too much because I want you guys seeing the raw footage. I don't want you guys seeing what I want you to see. I want you to see everything. When I make a mistake, when I'm like, oops, I gotta backtrack, because guess what? That's real. I like real videos, something tangible. Something that shows you that I am human and I make a ton of mistakes. I really do. Just ask my wife. All right. Oh, see how much I took way too much off. Control Z or Command Z. We'll get rid of that. Do the shift in again. So the other thing too is where the tones are pretty close here to the finger. Doing some of the like tone mapping and color mapping and whatnot to get rid of this color would be super difficult. Trying to isolate these different shades of color. That's why I also like this kind of control. Back out of here a little bit. All right, so you can see up on the fingertips there, it needs to come down a little bit because you can kind of still see around the fingers up there, but I'm not worried about that right now. We're going on a dark as it gets, I guess, a black background. So I'm not concerned about that right now. I just want to get a couple of these items taken care of and then get her over and then really start in on the fun things. Remember I said I want to get rid of these hairs, those scraggly hair. Get this out too. I don't like having, unless it's flowy and you definitely can tell that, oh, her hair's coming down. Otherwise, I don't like it near like the armpit area. Let's go back in onto her face. Whoa. I need to, there we go. So I'm going to switch to white now. Okay, so I need to paint some details back in. And in order to paint these details and items back in on a black mask, I need to have white. See that? Now I can paint it right in. And the same thing, I use a hard-edged brush so that I'm getting all these and I'm not drifting off the edge here. You know what I mean? It's funny. Drifting off the edge. I want all the details I can possibly get. How far out does her eye go? Oh, right there. Okay. I'll play with that too in the other on the other side of things. Really quick, like just for now. Just get rid of that altogether. Just make it nice and smooth. There we go. Shut my email down again. Sorry about that, guys. Blasting in while we're trying to do these tutorials. Alright, so get details there. I'll wait till I get on the black to remove this. This will probably come through as being gray. Again, this is, if you guys want to fast forward through it into the next steps, which I don't blame you. It's just long and boring sitting here watching me do this, but I want every aspect of what I'm doing to be shown to you guys. So where there's a lot on my edges here, I can actually do Command and click here. And see how it put those marching ants around here? Now when I use my brush, it won't go to the outside edge. See that? It's not painting out here. It's only going to do what's on the inside of this area. Sometimes that doesn't work. This trick doesn't work so well because there's normally sometimes if there's a lot of green, it spills up onto somebody. It cuts into the body part or into the picture. I don't like to do that. See, like right there. Yeah, that's. I'm gonna have to go back and do that manually. See the feet down here actually came out really good. Just that one little spot there. She was jumping when we captured this. I know some people have asked. Command D to get rid of those. Some people have asked, and I use Paul Buff monolights for all of my work. I love his work, or his products. They're amazing. Paul C. Buff, Alien Bees, and Einstein's. They're cost effective, and they take, well, you can see, they take amazing photos. All right, listen, I'm ready to go on this. I'll do more work on, like this will be on, once I get over here, I'll do my workflow over there. This is just getting her off the green screen. So again, we're going to go layer. I want to merge these clipping paths because I don't want to take those with me. So layer, merge clipping mask, merges them all down. Okay, now I'm just going to take and I'm going to drag her over to where it says dancer and plop her in. And she's going to be super big. We don't want that. So I'm going to hit here. Command T. Sorry, I'm not very good at like verbalizing what I'm doing. I'm kind of quick. I'm new to this. So Command T gives you your free transform. This constrains your proportions. That way you don't do this and get her all, see how you get her all wonky? Okay? If you click this, it will constrain those proportions so that when you're zooming in, she stays the same. And you can already see how awesome this is starting to look just by isolating that nice dark background. Right now it just looks like she's floating in space. But we'll create like a reflection down here, maybe a gradient for the floor. I actually like the idea of using powder, so I think we're going to do the powder picture. We'll do some white and some other colors. I'm not sure. Maybe we'll just do white. This is really pretty. Back here, zoom in. Go look around. If there's any other corrections I need to make, this will get fixed, and this will get fixed. All around her head will get fixed right now. So go to our brush, bring that flow down to about 1%. I need black because I need to remove some items. And here, I want a soft brush because I don't want to paint directly on it. I want to be out here and just let it slowly blend in. So I'm going to go down to 11. I don't think there's really a rhyme or reason, but there we go. And just paint the edges and paint it away. I don't want to get rid of all of it because the light's hitting here and it does kind of go through the hair a little bit. But I do want to make it look as uniform as possible. And then in here, take a couple strokes, so you're getting it through there. Just enough till you start to get that black to show through. Because think about all the hairs that are moving around. Like I said, she was jumping. So think about when the hairs move around together and they're close together, but they're not matted down like this. You still kind of have like that glossy look. Not glossy, but matted look. Not matted. What am I going for? Like all the little hairs together, like that sheer. Here we go, like that sheer look, I guess. That's what I was looking for. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to bring that opacity down, probably to like 9 or so. And I'm just going to paint on these upper edges. And start to fade them out just a little, and it adds a little bit more. A little bit more to the composite or the design. We'll get down here too. So remember, when you change the opacity, I'm at like 9%. So every time I swipe, I'm only getting 9% of whatever I'm trying to get rid of. So like you're building up with paint, you go over and over and over. I didn't really click there, just so you guys knew. See that? Click, 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 click. There we go. Back away a little bit. Yeah, I like that. All right. That looks pretty good. So next up, I'm going to work on her skin. Before we get into the fun stuff, I'm going to remove this. I actually don't like that, so I'm going to bring this bad boy all the way up. Bring that all the way up. I'm going to get rid of that. I have a soft edge. It could be at least like 80. Yeah, perfect. That looks pretty good. All right, so I have my workflow action that I use. You guys are going to hear me talking about actions all the time. This cuts back my workflow by a lot. So instead of having to go through each one of the steps, I record the steps and create an action, and then I can just play it on top, and then it works out perfectly. So I have my workflow, and I just hit play. And what this is doing is just dropping in a couple layers, a dodge and burn layer, and then a cleanup layer. The cleanup layer is where I use my spot healing and healing brush tool and my clone stamping tool for skin and blemish removal or blending in of the skin tones or whatnot. And I will show you on cleanup how I do that and why I do that. Her skin is actually really good. There's like some spots here. You can see some roughness here, some patches here. So I'm going to get rid of those using my healing brush tool. With the healing brush tool, you have to sample first. So I'm going to click here, sample from that area, click here, sample from that area, and just getting rid of a lot of these little spots. And I'm selecting the tones that are closest to the area that I want to get rid of. Otherwise, it'll look a little weird that you have this weird tone out, and then you're going to be trying to get rid of that tone as well. Does that make sense? Hope so. Like that. Boom, gone. Get rid of this little guy. Get rid of this little guy. Drive my attention away. Some of the little spots up here. I don't want to get rid of all the texture in the skin. I want a little bit to show through. She is an adolescent girl. She's great skin for being an adolescent girl. But still going to show the age. I don't want to make her look super old or much older. Mom and Dad wouldn't appreciate that. I mean, gosh, that's really about it. Maybe let me get my clone tool here. I'm going to bring that flow down to about 1. Because see this right here? It's bugging me. Let me bring my size down. That's clone stamp. I want clone. There it is. Let me get rid of some. I'm going to try to blend that in. Option, click. And little by little, when you're using the clone stamp and you're using skin and you're doing it on tones, and you want to go very little. I'm at like 1% and 41% opacity. I want to slowly change things. I don't want to drastically change things. You know what I mean? Drastic change is going to be perceived by the eye. You'll be like, what is that? See this? I want to get rid of the little bit of shadow that's happening over here. But I'm doing it at a rate that's slow. Yeah, I like that. See, that makes me feel a little better. Get rid of some of this here. And you don't want to go crazy with the clone tool because it blurs and softens versus leaving like the texture there. And you'll see when I run my Jeremy Touch action, when I'm all done with this, her skin is going to look terrible, but we're going to mask it right off because it brings out all the detail. Like this will be super sharp and dark. And all right. I like it. I like it. I don't think I need to do any dodging and burning right now, but I'm going to leave these here just because. And I'm going to shift, click, group, dancer. All right, now I do this now because I have a foreground and then I have the background. I need to be able to distinguish. So here's my background. Anything behind this, any layers behind this will not be obviously shown in front of her because she's in front of them, and anything on top will be covering her. So I want to start with a reflection. So I got to go back into my dancer layer. I'm going to hit Command J, which is going to duplicate that layer. Okay, I'm going to drag it below. Command T to free transform. I'm going to click on the inside of my box. I'm going to click flip vertically. Just like that. Looks weird, I know, right? But then all I'm going to do, I'm going to drag her down. You're not going to see much but a foot. And I'll drop her there, and I'll actually pick, did it take? Yeah. I'll pick her up. No, I want room for this, so I'm going to bring this one. I'm going to use my arrow keys. Put it on my move tool and just my arrow keys. Just a little bit. A little bit down. Because remember, she was up. She was in the air. She wasn't doing point. Up just a little bit. There we go. Okay. And then I'm going to apply that layer mask because I'm going to need to do something different here in a minute. So, clearly this doesn't look like a reflection. This just looks like somebody, she's standing on someone's toes. So what we're going to do is we're going to add a layer mask. And then if you remember from my first episode, I used the gradient tool. Gradient tool. I always do that. Click. There we go. Black to white. Double click. Let me look. That one looks good. Probably adjust a little bit. There we go. All right. So we're going from black to white. So from black is going to be down here to white. Okay. So as a reflection, closer it is to the actual source, the sharper it is, and as it goes away, it kind of like fades away, kind of fades off. So I'm going to go drag that up. I think I want it a little bit more. I like that. I can actually lower my opacity a little bit. There we go. All right, starting to look pretty good, right? Next step. Filters. We need to blur this out. We're going to go to filter. We're going to go to blur. We're going to go to Gaussian blur. Okay? You can already see it starting to blur because I have the preview hash mark ticked. And if you look here, it's nice and sharp right now. And then as soon as I click preview, it blurs it out a little bit. And that's only 2 pixels, the radius. I'm going to go up a little bit. There we go. I like that. It's kind of blurred. And then again, I can bring my opacity down and slowly bring it up until I get where I want to be with it. And then I can even still, because this is a mask, I can grab my brush and bring that bad boy all the way down to like 1%, like a 5% opacity. Make sure it's a soft brush. And I can brush on some of this too. You know what I mean? To really enhance the effect that it's fading off. There we go. Bump this up a little bit more. Yeah. That flow up a little. Oh my goodness, that's 100% opacity. I don't know how well that's gonna look. Yeah, blah. I'm gonna bring that bad boy back down. I don't like fast. Make it look quick. I take my time. I want it to look right. And then remember, closer to the source, brighter it is. There we go. I'm using the wrong color. I'm using the wrong color. Way to go, Jeremy. All right, you're not going to really see much of that in a second anyways, because there's going to be powder and everything. but it's a base. Okay, and we'll blend around that. So that's inside the dancer. So that's all in there, and I'm going to name that reflection. Spelt it wrong, but I think I know what it means. All right, so I'm going to start. When I do my powder style, I always start with my background and I work it forward. And then you got to look at her body mechanics too. Like, think about how she swings this leg up, these arms go out. There's power going this way and that way, and she's just very strong. So I'm going to create a layer here. This is going to be powder 1. Okay, go to my brushes. Scroll down until I can find my my powder brushes. Should be relatively close. Yeah, so these all here, starting right here, these are all powder brushes. I think the smoke starts here. Powder on the floor, yeah. So, like I was talking about the floor. So when you're throwing powder, you know you're going to get stuff on the floor, right? Check this out. Yeah, make sure I'm on my... I use a tablet, guys, a Wacom tablet. I don't use a mouse or whatnot. So here's my floor powder. It's not going to be black. It's going to be white. It's going to be full flow, full opacity. I can knock it back if I need to. So we're going to drop this down on its own layer. Woo! Look at that. And you know, for this, I could even do this. Because I've got so much on that ground, I could shut that off. And it still works. And I'm going to grab this powder and I'm going to move it forward a little bit. And I'm going to manipulate it to where it fits the scene a little bit more. You know what I mean? Nice. I like that. All right, here we go. Powder 2. This is all going to be personal taste. There's no rhyme, there's no reason. You want to do crazy colors. She's wearing white. I usually match what they're wearing. She's wearing white, so I think the white will look good. And then the colors of Melrose Dance is like this light pink. So maybe I'll throw in just a little bit of pink there. Back to my brushes. Go to those powder brushes. Once you select the brush, it should keep you in that general area. And you'll see all these amazing and fun brushes that you can use to, like, for the arms. Remember, this arm's going out and away. This one's going up and away. That you can use. See this guy. It's for the arms. I need something in the back. Here we go. That's a good one. 4926. Powder 2. Oh yes. So we'll give that a quick blast. Oh, looks cool, right? Command T. Now from here, I mean, we can change this to make it look any way we want. So check this out. Warp. Move it around a little bit to kind of conform it. Here we go. I can bring that back up too, just a little bit and over. Bring it right in by her feet. And these chunks are flying out. Oh, that looks so cool. I'm going to have more coming out and then some coming up. I think I'm good there. I like that. So let me get another layer. I'm going to go powder 3. Now I need something coming up from all around here. So mainly the arms. Okay. So let's go up here. Let's see what I can use here for. I think the nicest ones for these, like the arms, And you can add and delete stuff too. It's like this guy here. And what I'm going to do is on that back layer, I'm going to go to pink. Like a light pink. Click OK. And then I can swap back between the white and the pink, which is the Melrose Dance Academy's colors. And I can switch here. As long as it's up forward, I know that's going to be the color of the current powder that I'm using. Oh, look at that one. That one might have been a better... Oh, that one fits perfectly. Look at that. All right, so I'm going to take powder 2 and shut it off for a second. Watch what I do with powder 3. See how it already kind of has the shape of the dancer? Oh, that's so cool. All right, perfect. That one was absolutely perfect. Add the white in there. Oh, but I'm going to get rid of some of that stuff on the bottom there. I'm going to go like this. A lot of masking here, guys. Okay, I'm going to go throw a mask on there. And I'm getting rid of this because it doesn't look like it's laying down. And if you notice, I didn't really change my brush. I'm still using that smoke brush. I mean that. There we go. Wow. See what that just did? Amazing, right? Looks so cool. So, I need some stuff coming out of her hand up here. Maybe some stuff coming down here. I'm liking how that looks. Chunks. Let me get the little chunks. I can use this one, and then what I can do is just shrink it down, and then I can add and remove, flip, flop. Whatever I need to do. Do that. And then I can hit Command T. I can rotate this bad boy, and I can make it look right here. And then if I zoom in, I can actually warp it around a little bit so that it's coming from her hand. Now when it comes to brushes, guys, you type in Photoshop brushes into Google, and you can find free ones, you can find ones that you pay for. There's so many brushes out there. And there's also tutorials that teach you how to make your own brushes. I've made several of my own brushes. And then there's some that I've bought. So I'm also going to copy this layer, Control. Is that powder 4? I better powder 4 that sucker first. P-O-W-D-E-R. Powder 4, and I'll show you why. So, and now I'm going to Command J. Gives me a copy. I'm going to bring that one above the dancer, not in with the dancer. Above the dancer. There we go. And then I'm going to add a layer mask, because it's not going to be on the back of her hand, right? It's just going to be coming from inside her hand. I'm going to get rid of all this. Hello? Why are you not working? Okay, what's happening here? That's the actual layer mask. Well, I guess it is working. Yep. Which is so subtle, I wasn't seeing it. Little bit on the skin, because if she's throwing some powder, it's going to be there. That looks pretty cool. So I want some stuff around her leg too, because if you're throwing powder up and at her, some's going to spill around, some's going to be on her, in front of her. And I wanted powder 4 up here. Oh, where's my powder 3? That was supposed to be a copy. Yeah, okay. So, powder 4 needs to go up here. Powder 4 copy needs to go down here. Now that looks a little bit better. I was trying to figure it out. Getting those layers, watching those layers. There we go. Now I can actually paint some of that back in. You know what I mean? There we go. All right. See? I want you to be able to see that. Human, man, I make mistakes. Remember I was telling you about that black earlier? Yeah, there it is. You can kind of see it. I'll make sure I go back and fix that towards the end. I'll probably forget. Terrible at that. All right, here we go. Yep, like that better. Yeah, now let's get some stuff in front of them. I think I already put the layer up there. Yep. Let's get that out of the dancer profile there. Perfect. All right, so what do I want to do in front? I want some white down on the legs. And I'm probably going to use this. Let me show you why. This kind of acts like a, this brush looks like, it's like almost like a skirt. See what I mean? Or like a dancing tutu. So I'll show you. Make it smell tea. Turn it a little bit. And I can almost make it look like, stretch it out a little bit. Go to warp. Down a little bit, you see that? So it looks like some was like wrapping up and around her. Creates that nice fun effect. I like that. I still need something down here on her foot. Brush. Let's go here. Let's try that guy. All right. So, powder, wow, I don't know how to spell powder 5. Powder 6. Powder 6 is going to be the foot. So that's what we're selected on. I've got my brush. It's really big. It's a huge brush. These are pretty high def brushes. Bring this guy way down. I'm also converting video in the background, so it's running my machine a little slow. Drop that guy right there. Now I'm going to grab it, bring it down by the feet. So why am I doing the feet? Well, if there's already powder on the ground and she's jumping and she's moving through the air, there's going to be powder coming from her feet. Right? If she's standing in it, it's going to be there. So that's why I add a little bit on the feet, and then I'm going to warp it so that it fits her foot. moving it around until it literally just, yep. I'm actually going to bring this one up. Okay, so a motion, and then I'm going to flail this out a little bit on the bottom. There we go. There we go. See that? Nice. And what I'm going to do, because it's really bright, I'm going to drop that opacity back a little bit. Good. I'm liking that. Need something up and around here, maybe down through here. Grab another brush. What do I want to do for her arm in the back here? What do we want to do here? Let's say, who's this guy? Actually, I like, was it this guy? Maybe. Good news is I can go back and change it. All right, so I need another layer. Powder 7. All right, powder 6 was the foot down there. Powder 7 is going to be, whoop, it's super tiny. It's going to be the arm, and I'm thinking, see how there's that little patch on the side there? I keep pointing to the screen as if you guys could see it, but you really can't. Yeah, grab that. This is like a little poof. You see that? Oh yeah, that fit in pretty good. Drop the opacity just a little bit. Remember that you can see the light is here. So I want it to be a little brighter here, a little darker under here. That looks pretty cool. I need something up and in here to kind of just make it more two-dimensional versus like just flat, or three-dimensional versus two-dimensional. Sorry. Two-dimensional is flat. Let's see, what, without taking away from the image, because this is her. This is the image I want everybody to see. What if I did something kind of like there's some falling off of her. You know what I mean? So let's go to powder 8. Spelled it right that time. Let's bring this bad boy down. It's like as if somebody behind her threw it. I'm pretty sure that's how this one was made. Let me go up here so I can see it. Yep, that's what I want. Command T, let's spin it, spin it, spin it. I'm going to rotate it back this way. And I don't like all the spots here, but I'm going to manipulate this a little bit. I'm going to throw a layer mask on that right away. That's not a layer mask, Jeremy. That's a layer mask. White mask. Turn my brush white. Let me zoom in here. It's looking pretty cool, right? I am going to do a matte removal on her because you can kind of see the black line on her. And I'm going to remove some of these. I don't like them. See that? Remove those. Now I have water brushes that I do this with too. The water looks really cool. Some people really dig it. Others are like, nah, I don't like the water. The water brushes look really cool. Yeah, I don't like that big chunk there either. Moving that kind of away because see this definition? I want to keep this, like her shoulder and her pectoral area. Like there's some good definition. Good definition. I want to keep that there. Drop that opacity down. Bring it up a little bit more. There we go. That looks pretty cool. I mean, I could keep going and adding and adding. Maybe I can add like something big in the background. Like watch, let's go back down here to the background. I'm gonna put powder number 9 is gonna be really low because I want it behind everything. So powder number 9, powder number 9. All right, let's go to a big brush. Click here. It's on the white. I can shut all this off. Bring this bad boy down a little bit. Oh yeah, see how it's a big poof? Get it right size. So remember, if you go outside this and you press with the brush, and I'll show you. When you go to move this because it's outside the edge, guess what you get? You get that sharp edge. So make sure when you're doing this, you keep your brush within the confines of your canvas, and then you can Command T and you can manipulate this to look however you want it to look. You know, do you want it wider? See that? And then even if you bring it up here and then you bring it back down, you don't lose that edge. You know what I mean? We'll leave it there for a second. I got to turn everything back on. I want to see how it looks. That's a lot of white. That's a lot of white. I'm going to opacity down a little bit. There we go. See, that's not bad. I can even... really mess with the eye here. Yeah, see, that's cool. That I don't mind. Okay. So the last step is I'm going to Jeremyize it. I'm going to turn it into Jeremy, but before I do that, let's go Shift, click, background, powder, Shift, click, double click on that group, foreground, powder. Okay, I always do this because I'm going to save this as a PSD. So if I ever want to come back to it, I can change things, or I'll look at it and be like, I want to do something different. And I'll come back and I'll change it. So there, so I'm on my very top sets of layers. I'm going to go to my actions, which is the play button. I have all these. I have so many. I'm going to go to Jeremy's Touch. And then I'm going to run it. And I want to see what it looks like. It's going to do a lot to the skin. It's going to make it very like harsh. So I'm going to have to go through and paint out the harshness. But it's going to add some crazy detail to the powder. The crazy detail. It has a very fun look to it. Grunge look. That's the look I like. Oh, yes. Look at that. That is sick. All right, and let me show you, not just tell you, but let me show you a couple of things after I ran that action. I'm going to have to go back and do it again. So I ran the action, and you can see this thick black line that outlines her. That's called a matte. Happens a lot when you're doing compositing and you're cutting cutting out your subjects or whatnot. That actually came out pretty good. This did not. And then you see the blotchiness on her skin. That's what that action does. So to fix this, I'm going to go ahead and delete those. It's not on my foreground layer. I'm going to leave all that on. I'm going to go to my dancer because that's who it is. Hello, dancer. There you are. It's her. It's here. I'm going to hit Command and I'm going to click on this. All right, so it's here. And now I'm going to run an action called matte removal. It's something I created to get rid of. Command D, that black area that usually surrounds the model. Worked out pretty good. And actually get rid of some of that distraction. I was looking here, but I want to get rid of more of that. That looks terrible. Let's go to my brush. I think that's still my small brush. Yeah, let me change that. Let's see. Go all the way up. So using two big programs, like I use Premiere to build my videos. And Photoshop to do all my work, and then I'm running QuickTime to record my screen and my voice as I'm going through this. So the computer gets quite angry at me when I'm using all these big programs to do lots of things at once. And although it shouldn't, go on a nice soft brush because it's a powerful computer. Size down. Let me bring the hardness up a little bit. There you go. I don't want spacing. Holy crap. It's a big brush. There we go. Alright, let me get rid of all this. I like how that looks when I run my action. My Jeremy's touch. Whoa, that was way too much. Way too much. All right. All right, let's try this again. And I do this a lot. You'll see me. I'll go back and forth. I'll try things and I'll remove them, and then I go back. Let me run that action again. Let me see how it looks. I'm drinking the coffee. Perfect. I like that much better now. Yeah, you can still see some of that black, but I'm not too worried about it. I'd go back in and refine that if this was going out to a client, but you kind of get the idea of where I'm going at. But right now, what I need to do is, it's really harsh on her skin. She's got smooth, beautiful skin. I want to show that. So I'm going to go to the black, because I'm on here, 100% flow. It's somewhat of a soft brush. Yeah. And I'm going to watch. I'm going to paint off all of it at first. Okay, not the hair, not the ear, but on her skin and her eye and that area. You see that? See how it starts to soften that skin up? But I am going to paint some back in. Especially in the pit area. Some people, and you see this a lot in magazines when you start looking, they'll actually take they'll take all these marks and like lines and stuff out of the pit area on models, and it looks terrible. Like you're destroying the human body. Like it does not look good. That's not what we're meant to look like. But they do it anyways. Fingers tend to look dirty on these too. So I go over all the skin. Okay? All the skin. And then I'll end up going back She was wearing leggings, so I'm not too worried about the leggings. It's just the skin. There we go. Excuse me, I'm not too worried about this. That looks nice. I like that, but now I'm gonna go in and paint back some of the highlights. I like the action that I've created for my highlights to be sharper. I just don't like the shadows to come through. Narrow it down to 1. You know what I mean? So I like this to be up a little bit, maybe in here. Definitely here. And what that's going to do is that's going to create, like, you can now look at the cutness of that. Like, you can see how she has muscle definition. She looks like a dancer. Well, she is. Lay down a little bit more. Yeah, I was blown away by the talent these young girls had. It was wasn't sure what to expect when I went in there. But every one of them, from their smallest dancer all the way up to their oldest dancer, they were just so talented. That means they have a great instructor, and they just have the passion for it. They really love to dance. All right. Well, there you have it. Right now, this powder composite, I believe, is done. I'm sure somebody else would want to do something different, but that's what's great about this kind of work I do. It's subjective. If you want to do something, now that you have the know-how, you go right in there and you create your own works and make them look exactly like you want. And there we go. I appreciate you guys joining me. Make sure you subscribe to my channel and stay updated to all these other tutorials I'm going to be doing. Like I said, this isn't your basic tutorial. I'm not going step by step and getting super detailed because I'm kind of fresh at this. But I really just want to share the knowledge and my workflow with all of you, and I hope you enjoy it. Take care. Thank you very much.